Hey, what's up, everybody? This is week 5. I am your boy, Kevin Elib, here on Studio One Expert. And let me explain some things to you guys. We just wrapping things up here. So one thing that we have to do now is actually bouncing down in place these different instruments. I left them here because just in case I want to change up something. So we want to make sure that we label everything. We've already begun to do that. As you can see, I sort of named these already. But a lot of times when we, pull up new instruments, it takes on the name of the instrument itself. And so you want to get in and make sure you label everything like you want to. And take all of this here. Let's glue them together. It's a good thing to give your sound a little bit space at the end, the tail end, because sometimes if you're messing with the instrument that has a tail end, you want to make sure that you go to the very end and, just give it a little tail end space to bounce completely out, the reverbs, delays, whatever's going on. And then we can go ahead and bounce it in place. So we can go ahead and delete this. We don't need it any longer. And so your CPU will begin to see freedom immediately once you do that, because now it's not pulling resource from the plugin itself. Okay, so now we got the main plugs done. It's audio. Let me show you this next trick, which is pretty cool. And this would be something I will recommend doing for you guys. Same process here. We're just going to take all of these tracks here, or all of the regions, should I say. We're going to go ahead and glue them together. Cool thing about this is we're going to go here to track, transform to audio track. And what this is going to do, this is a window here. So we're going to render inserts, meaning if I have any EQ, which I do, I have EQ, I have a red light district, and I have a VBC on here. And it's going to preserve the track instrument, right? Then we're going to get a tail end of 30 seconds. So I don't necessarily have to come at the end and extend this over like you see me do up here. Now what this does, it gives me that 30 seconds automatically. And the cool thing about the preserved instrument is I'm going to show you exactly what this is. So let's go ahead and start this process. So now that we are bounced down, the cool thing about the second thing, the second way of bouncing this down is that, as you can see in the track itself, I don't know if you can see that. Let me click out of it. Maybe if I pick another color, we could probably see it just a little bit better. Like a dark color. Okay. So you can see those little, it look like MIDI, right? Like, wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Well, see, the thing about this is when you go that route, bouncing everything as like what I just showed you guys, it also saves the MIDI information as well. So if I need to recall the MIDI, the chords, progression, whatever, I can always get back to it. And we can see it in our pool section. We got a lot going on here. So the easy way to find this is by going to, see if I can remember this, going to audio and select in pool. And it will point exactly where this is. So my chord plus 1 here. And as you can see, this is the wave. Well, this is the wave. And this is the MIDI information. So if I need to bring this back in the session, you see that? I could bring this in. So I'm not going to bring this in because that's not the goal here. But I'm just showing you guys how cool that is. Another cool thing that Studio One is smart enough to do is I can select all of these different instruments and just hit my glue button and all of them glue together. Boom. That's a free tip. Not going to cost you anything, I promise you. So the next important thing that I think is very valuable to your session is labeling everything. You have to properly label everything, all your tracks. You don't want anything to say silent 1 or contact 5. And you know what I'm saying? You want to give everything their own lane. You know what I'm saying? You have to name everything. You don't want anything saying audio 1 like this. For instance, I could just call this snare. Let's see. What is this? Just to give you an example. Snare clap up. Boom. Just give it a name, because when you need to go back and retrieve all this information, it makes it easier to find. Plus, when you're sending this to someone else to collaborate with you, things like that, it makes sense, especially for when you're sending this to a mix engineer. Say you want to send this entire session to a mix engineer. And I'm going to show you some other things that you need to do as well. You have to go here to your pool section and right click, then you say remove unused files. So I made a lot of adjustments in this track, in this song particularly. There was some bounces I made. You guys see me do that, and chopping up some things, whatever. So I may have some leftover issues, leftover tracks. There are issues at this point. There are unwanted tracks in my session. It makes the file bigger. So if you go ahead and remove the unused files, it actually lists some of the files that are being unused, and it's quite a bit of them. It's quite a bit of them. And I also have the option to delete them permanently from the file. So again, if I was to go this process, I'm eliminating all of the tracks. They're just sitting there. I'm not going to use them. I bet you I'm not. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes to that. Even though there's a lot of elements going on here, it's still yet simple, but it fits the style. You know what I'm saying? It fits the style, this genre, this hybrid style, because this is what they're doing in this style of music. So it's not busy, but it is in a sense. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ear candies, there's a lot of changes, drops, and things like that. Me particularly, I like to pre-mix while I'm producing the track. So a lot of times I'll adjust levels, and this is what I did before I even started mixing on it. So I've been doing this for a while, and so I kind of know I have a really great concept as to how I want it to sound. So the whole concept behind the mix is leveling everything, balancing everything, making everything glue perfectly together. You don't want everything at unity gain. You want to turn some things down, pan some things left and right. And this is how you get your tracks loud without distorting and going past 0. When you roll off some of the low end, you know, a lot of times we're thinking, you know, we get more bass in there, man, this going boom. No, it's really the opposite, because if your mix is too muddy, then it's gonna be a hard time trying to translate through your speakers, and it's gonna sound distorted. And so we're gonna add the CTC1 here. This may or may not break the mix, but we're going to give it a try. I like to use the tube version here, and we're just going to see how it's going to sound. All right. So the key is to get the mix perfect before you start adding these, or you can add this in here before, and you know what I'm saying? It gives you a good idea as to what the final project. So it's either or. It really depends on you where you want to go. So let's listen to the track all the way through. So I hope this was helpful. We really didn't dive deep into the mix, but I showed you guys how to get the basics when doing your tracks. Again, this is Kevin Elib from Ksoundd.com here on Studio One Expert. Remember, music is art. You're the artist. Paint your picture.